Peace. I just want to take a moment and address that Dr. Umar scandal. And for those of y'all who are unfamiliar with Dr. Umar, he's a black psychologist out of Philly. And if you've never seen any of his lectures, just go on YouTube and type in Dr. Umar and you see some of his lectures come up. So he's a Pan-African nationalist, and he does a lot of lectures on the black family, being natural, being African-centered, things that go on in the educational field in terms of the people to prison pipeline. And recently he's been striving to get funding to get a Frederick Douglass Marcus Garvey institution built for young black males. And the scandal surrounds a woman by the name of Kymm Ringgold, who dubs herself the conscious stripper, who was basically in a sexual relationship with Dr. Umar. And one of the things that people have been critical about is, first of all, Dr. Umar talks about healthy family relationships and women being natural and everything else, and this female wears wigs, she's a stripper, everything that looks the antithesis of what he advocates and promotes. At the same time, he recently had an interview and he was talking about how celibate he is, and this female comes out posting screenshots of their text messages and everything else, proving that they've been intimately involved. So he had to come out and do damage control, and consequently what happened is there was an unnamed NBA donor who was in a position to give Dr. Umar $1 million to help support the building of the Frederick Douglass Marcus Garvey School. And when this unnamed donor saw this scandal break out, they pulled back their support, and Dr. Umar lost $1 million behind him not being in a relationship, but just simply, having sex with this female. So, one of the things that I have been conscious of also as a public figure and a person that is a leader within my community and in my nation is that we have to maintain a level of integrity and a standard of behavior that is above reproach. And it's challenging, because you never know who may be coming at you and from what angles they may be coming from, or if they're asking you questions in your inbox just to see how you're going to respond so they can snapshot it. Or, one of the things that I had that were concerns about Dr. Umar is because when I first met the brother and I've seen some of his lectures, I witnessed him give his personal phone number out to a room full of strangers. And I'm sure that he's well intended in the spirit of transparency and connectedness with our people and just being personable, but that is not the best approach in terms of minimizing opportunities for people to strive to take advantage of you. In other instances, I saw him pass out sign-in sheets for people to be on the mailing list, and he's doing this himself personally. It's not like he had an assistant that was helping him out or anything like that. The same thing with campaign or financial donations that people were making to the Frederick Douglass Marcus Garvey School. He's handling that himself, and that in itself creates more of an opportunity for impropriety, even if it's not none going on. So for example, when I ran for public office, I had a treasurer handling my Friends of Saladin account in terms of people who were donating. And they were the ones who kept track of each and every donor to my campaign. I didn't do that myself because, like I said, it creates too much room for perceived impropriety. And one of the things that is important to keep in mind with this whole scandal is that Dr. Umar, he travels real light. He does a lot of things on his own individualistically, which showed me that for some female to come like that, he doesn't have a strong team. And that is very important. The females that's in my circle, they wouldn't even let me talk to a woman like that. They'd be like, Saladin, come on now. Dude, don't even, and I appreciate that because they are a part of my team, and we mutually support each other's mission and our vision. So I serve the same purpose for the females who are in my team. If it's a dude coming a certain way or whatever, I tell them from a male's perspective of what they need to see and how they should best approach handling that situation. And the fact that something like this happened shows me that he doesn't have the type of females in his network that he needs to have there. You know, there's a lot of females that appreciate the things that he does, but as far as a inner circle and a network, they would have never let a female like that get so close, or even allow him to put himself in a position to get that close to her. So any of you who are in a position where you're a leader in your community, you're a manager or a supervisor on your job, you have to be conscious of the integrity and the standards that you uphold in terms of being a leader amongst your peers. And you don't have room for error like that, you know. And another thing that I want to encourage all of you to do is to be conscious of your interaction online and with social media, whether it's your posts on your Facebook walls or what you're commenting and liking, or whether it's in your inbox. You know, your inbox should be reflective of what's in your outbox or what is on your Facebook wall. It shouldn't be Dr. Jekyll, Mr. Hyde. If you talking about righteousness or whatever on your wall, you shouldn't be sending dick pics in your inbox. You know what I'm saying? Same thing with Twitter. You shouldn't be DMing inappropriate stuff to people, and on your regular post on Twitter it looks entirely different. There has to be a level of consistency, because sometimes people get in your inboxes or your DMs and strive to interact with you just to see if they can bring out some inconsistency with you. Another thing to keep in mind, if you're going to deal with somebody, make sure they have just as much to lose as you do. Because if they ain't got nothing to lose, guess what? You put yourself in a vulnerable position to lose more and a lot behind if this person isn't someone of integrity or if they have ill intentions. So if you're going to be sharing something intimate or whatever with a person, make sure that if you were to put it out there publicly, they have just as much to lose as if they were to put it out there publicly. And number 3, always be mindful that how we define ourselves, that word is in conjunction with dominion. So, okay. If you look at the book of Genesis and it talks about Adam being given the power to name things, he was also simultaneously given dominion. Dominion is governance. So with word comes dominion, or word comes rulership or governance. And the words that we speak out of our mouth, we automatically create adversity. So for example, if I say I'm the illest MC and nobody can't mess with me in a battle, I just created my number 1 contender just because of the words that came out of my mouth. You know, if I'm sitting here saying that I'm celibate, now I'm going to get a line of females that's willing to give me some, not because they like me, but because they want to be the first to prove me wrong. You know what I mean? If you announce that you're in a relationship, now you got people that may come out of the woodworks that want to get with you, to just see how committed you really are to that relationship. So sometimes things are best left unsaid, you know. And that is one of the things that I also recognize with Dr. Umar or other different people, that sometimes they may speak too much of themselves and who they are and what they're doing, and it creates the type of adversity where you're gonna see these type of challenges to not only what you say you are as a person, but also challenges to your mission and your vision. So with that said, this was inspiring, it was empowering, it was educating, and gave those of you a little bit more insight on how I see this whole scandal. Once this news cycle ends and all of the dust settles, you know, the brother's going to continue to do the things that he's been doing. But I think this lesson is humbling, and it also is insightful in terms of him recognizing that he needs to have a tighter team, especially with females that should be closer to him, looking out for people that may be coming from those particular angles. Peace.